1968 and attended Hudson High School, where he was captain of the varsity basketball and football teams in his senior year. He graduated in 1986 and continued his education at the State University of New York in Albany. He graduated cum laude from the university's Nelson Rockefeller School of Government in 1991. His interest in government and finance led him to accept a position with Lehman Brothers, an investment banking firm in New York City. In 1994, Jake was appointed executive assistant to State Comptroller H. Carl McCall. As one of the youngest executive cabinet members in the state's history, Jake reviewed and developed pension and investment policy for the then $62 billion New York Common Retirement Fund. After 3 years of government service, Jake returned to the private sector with the venerable Wall Street investment banking firm of Morgan Stanley and Company in 1995. He was named a vice president of that firm in 1996. Jake, welcome home.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
After hearing that introduction, I have one piece of advice for you all. Don't be like me. Grow up and make something of yourselves. It's truly a privilege and an honor to be here today and to speak before my alma mater's graduating class. Although I must admit I'm just a little bit confused. These teachers spent 4 years trying to get me to sit down and shut up. Now they're asking me to stand up and speak. Well, that's okay. The way I look at it, it's revenge. For all the times they said, Mr. Wallflower, I'm warning you, you better sit down and shut up, I just sit here and wait with bated breath for Mr. O'Connor to say a peep. And I will get revenge. The last time I stepped foot in this room, I was walking across this very stage. I was here to get my hard-earned diploma. 13 years of formal education was coming to an end. Little did we know that all the real learning was about to begin. We were all so excited about graduating. I remember we kept saying, no more homework, no more lectures, no more tests. We walked around mocking Dr. Martin Luther King. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we're free at last. Little did we know that we were free to get a job, free to pay rent, free to cook our own food, free to do our own laundry. Ah, freedom. I hate it. I left after the summer of 1986 to pursue my dreams. And I had to leave Hudson to pursue my dreams. However, this remains a very special place. And this high school remains a very special place because this is where my dreams started, right here in the corridors of Hudson High School. I can remember as if it was yesterday. Let me ask this question. How excited is the class of 1998 about graduating? How excited is the class of 1998 about graduation? Will somebody give me an H? Give me a U? Give me a D? Give me an S? Give me an O? Give me an N? What's that spell? Louder. Louder. Okay. Took a little while.
They're kind of quiet. They're not that excited.
Those were the days. You might not realize it, but you're going to miss this place too. You'll miss the teachers and the faculty of the Hudson City School District. You'll miss your friends. And I think you'll even miss weird things like the sound of the bell signaling that it's time for you to change classes. I know it's hard for you to believe that you're going to miss some of the teachers. I mean, they did such terrible things to you over the course of your 4 years. I mean, think about it. They gave you pop quizzes. They called on you when you weren't paying attention. And for me, the worst one was telling me they're going to call my parents, and then actually calling them. I mean, I can remember they'd say, "I'm going to call your parents, Jake," and I say, "Oh yeah, sure you will. Go right ahead, buddy." I get home and all hell would break loose. And so that you all put it in perspective, back then, parents beat their kids.
Yes, they did. Oh, yes. Woo! Yes, yes!
But before I begin, I have to say, I promised to several people to keep my comments brief. I was putting the finishing touches on my speech on Friday morning. I got into the office extra early, about 7 o'clock, and the phone starts ringing. It's my mother. She says, "You know, you have a tendency to be long-winded. And people don't want to hurt your feelings, so they don't tell you that." So I said, "Mom, is there something you want to say?" She said, "Yeah, you should keep it brief." About a half an hour later, my wife calls. And she says, "You know, you're standing in the way of graduation parties and all the other things they think are much more fun than listening to you talk." So I said to my wife, "Do you want to tell me something?" She said, "You should keep your comments brief." So then I get a phone call from Lance Wheeler, and I faxed him a copy of my speech. And he said, "Jake, this is a good speech. What could really make it a great speech is if you abbreviated it." So I said, "Okay, that's it." Then the fourth phone call comes, and it's Kristen Molino, whose cousin Kara is graduating today, and she says, "My cousin asked me to call you, and she wants to know, how long are you going to bore us on Sunday?" So I then said to my secretary, "Kirsten, hold all my calls. I want you to appreciate how much of a challenge it is to be up here today. I mean, I was thinking about giving a graduation speech, so I tried to think back to remember what was said during my graduation. And I couldn't remember. Can anybody out here remember what was said during their graduation? Can anybody remember who spoke during their graduation? Well, I think you now can appreciate why I've entitled my speech "In One Ear and Out the Other." I hope that's not the case, but in any event, I live for a challenge. I appreciate a challenge, and my challenge today is to get you all, the graduates, class of 1998, thinking about your lives. And if I'm able to get anyone else out here in the room to think about their lives too, then I'm happy about that as well. But today I want to do something a little different. I want you all to cooperate with me while I get you to think about your lives. You're going to have to kind of take an imaginary journey with me. Do me a favor and close your eyes. I've got a rock in my pocket. If I see anybody's eyes open, I'm throwing it. Okay, you didn't believe me? Here it goes. You're driving in your car, and you turn the corner and you start heading towards a church, a temple, synagogue. Got to be politically correct here. You're heading to the parking lot. You bypass people walking in, and it appears as if it's crowded. There's some sort of major event going inside. You park your car, you get out, and as you start walking towards the church, you hear organ music. You walk into the church, and in the pews, you see your friends and your family members weeping. They're crying. Someone has passed on. You start walking down that center aisle, footstep after footstep, until you get to the casket. You look inside, and to your surprise, you realize that you've come face to face with yourself. It's your funeral.
Oh my God.
And you yell, "What's going on here? Somebody stop this," but no one can hear you. You realize, after several attempts, that you're only there in spirit. So you sit down and you grab a program from the pew. And you read the program. And within the program, there are 3 people set to speak at your funeral. One is going to be a family member. Give some thought to who that is. One is going to be a friend. Give some thought to who that is. One is going to be maybe a student or a coworker. Give some thought to who that is. Now think for a second. I want you to answer this question. What are these people going to say about you?
Oh, my Lord.
What kind of student were you? What kind of father or mother were you? What kind of friend were you? What kind of coworker or neighbor? How did you touch the people that you met? What were your contributions to this world, this city, this school? What were your achievements? What kind of human being, what kind of person were you? In short, how will you be remembered when your time has come?
My Lord Jesus.
You can open your eyes. Today is clearly not about death. It's about life. It's about your life. And what I have found is that when confronted with death, people think more about life. More importantly, they think more about the choices that they make in life. And that is what I want to focus on today. I want you to appreciate, by the time you walk out of this room, that life is all about choices. If you were to fast forward your life from 18 to 35 to 45 to 75, what your life is like at that particular point in time will be the result of choices that you have decided to make. I now live in New York City, and I get home quite often, and I love running into old classmates and catching up and reminiscing about the past. Many of them are doing very well. They've established themselves, leading very productive lives, which include families, children, homes. They are active in their charities, in their communities, in charities and politics, and they're attempting to make their world a better place. I'm very proud of them, and they're very proud of themselves. But unlike this group, there is a whole nother group. A group who, by their own admission, are having a hard time. They're living a very, very difficult life. They're not doing so well. They float from relationship to relationship, from minimum wage job to minimum wage job, or they have found a revolving door with the criminal justice system, and they're doing 1 to 3 years, a life sentence 1 to 3 years at a time. I have friends on both sides of the divider, and I continue to treat them all in a very friendly and loving way. And no amount of success or lack thereof will ever diminish the bond and the memories that we share. However, I always ask myself when we part company, what has separated us? Was it bad luck? Was it misfortune? I love to read, so I tried to research the topic. And most PhDs would say it's what we call the isms. It's sexism, it's nepotism, it's racism, or some even say biological determinism. I have a much simpler mind, and I think there's a much simpler explanation. When we graduated 12 years ago, we all walked out of this auditorium. And we made choices. And now, 12 years later, our lives reflect the choices that we've made. And 12 years from now, your lives will reflect the choices that you made. The most popular choice of those who failed to succeed was to do nothing. They left this auditorium without a map, without a game plan, without a sense of direction. They decided to do as they had always done. They were going to procrastinate. They were going to put it off, think about it later. Well, later turned into tomorrow, tomorrow turned into next week turned into next month, and next month turned into next year. And they never made any choices. They didn't do anything. But they didn't understand that the world is not a static place. People keep moving, technology keeps moving, business keeps moving, and sooner or later, it all becomes out of reach. Before they knew it, their hopes and dreams and ambitions had faded and become distant memories. They were losing the passion and excitement that comes with being youthful. They now had jobs, credit card bills, rent, children to feed, and began evoking those responsibilities as impediments and obstacles to reaching their goals. They began to feel trapped in the world that they lived in. Their self-esteem was diminishing as they watched friend after friend climb the ladder of success. They became hardened and angry with the world. They started feeling like a victim that no one helped. Feeling victimized, they began to feel helpless, depressed, confused, lost. Being lost, they began to scream out, "How could this happen to me? How could this happen to me? How could this happen to me?" Let me tell you how this could happen to you. I want you to listen carefully. In life, if you choose to do nothing, you will accomplish nothing. You will have nothing, and you certainly will be nothing. Life is not a spectator sport. It's an adventure. It's a journey. And sometimes it's so tough it's a safari. But before you get lost, and trust me, it's not that easy to get lost, I would encourage you to choose a destination. In other words, develop a clear understanding of what you want to be, who you want to be, and where you want to be. And then, develop a roadmap that will get you there. One of the first questions we ask ourselves when we think about taking a long trip by car is, where do I want to go? You decide upon a destination. That's what I'm asking you to do. The second question you ask yourself is, how do I get there? Develop a roadmap that will get you there. And at times when you feel lost, you'll be able to refer back to it and get back on the right course to your destination. My suggestion would be that you not start this process tomorrow, next week, or next year. The time to start this process is now. The time to start thinking about it.
Lynn Boughton, Jeremiah Michael Stone.
Lisa coming.
Melissa Ann Bauer, Lisa Marie Welch.
Woo!
Eris Tamika Shakespeare, Coster Jr., Stephanie Lynn Thomas, Frederick Dawes Jr., Jessica Frances Veriel. Carrie Suzanne Allen Fong Tong Nguyen. Darwin Levon Williams. Megan Elizabeth Hart. Jason Wesley Raytard. Rebecca. Cynthia Ann Bennett. Brian James Malinsky.
Oh, yay! Okay, it's off for instant, Lisa. So how you doing? What you think about graduation?
Thank you. I'm very happy.
Better hurry up and talk. It's flashing. What?
I'm very happy. Open it up. Thank the Lord.
Open it up. Well, Peaches, what you have to say, honey?
I want to say thank God, because it wasn't nobody but God. I don't see how I did it, but I did. I got my decision. She did. I don't see how I did it.
That's beautiful, beautiful. What Jeff? Yeah, that Jeff with his daughter.
Hey, Mom.
That Jeff with his daughter. Hey, that Rachel. And Rachel Marquez.
Graduation day. You know, I can get to words, but she means more to me than anything, so I want to be here for her.
Yes.
And me and Mark are very happy.
Yes. Yes, it is. That's the diploma. Yes, it is.
I know she said that back in '88, and it's '98 now.
That's Daryl. That's Daryl.
Oh, Daryl was graduating '88?
That's Daryl. Huh?
If I was you, I'd slap you, Rachel.
I'm proud of her. She grown. Congratulations, though.
Thank you.
Is she grown yet?
She got Marquez. Yeah, Marquez. Hey, Marquez. Hey, honey. Look at this gonna go out? Okay. Well, it's still going though. Y'all anything else y'all want to say? It's still going.
Yeah, Mary, it's hot out here.
Okay, we getting ready to go. We're gonna go to Old Country Buffet.
All right, you want to pull up the car yet?
Old Country Buffet. College graduation. Right. Just wait for Lisa to come. Turn it back off now. Age and stuff up there. London Green Community College. Graduation. Here comes Lisa class. Go ahead. That's okay. Class. I'm gonna have to cut it off till I see Lisa coming up here, because I don't want to miss out. I don't know who they're clapping for. I'm trying to reserve my stuff. I have to turn it off again because I don't know how long this thing gonna work. Okay, I don't see Lisa yet, so I'm gonna turn it off again. You okay? Good Joey. That's Lisa's college class. Okay. Lisa. That's Lisa. Battery. Battery flashing. Battery flashing.
Lisa Marie Fitzgerald.
Woo! Praise him. Thank the Lord. Rachel talking about me. It's getting her tail. And then my brother right there, you did really good. looking up at